In this video, I'm going to do another t-shirt tutorial where you can learn to design a t-shirt like this for 4th of July. Let's go. Thanks for joining me on this video. My name is Juna with Detour Shirts. I've been designing and selling t-shirts since 2005. And if that's something you like to learn how to do, if you're interested in designing and selling t-shirts online, then this is the channel for you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you can see all my videos. I teach you how to design t-shirts and sell them mainly on print on demand. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do a t-shirt design that looks like this. This one is for 4th of July, and I'm going to teach you how to do this in Affinity Designer with graphics from Creative Fabrica and with fonts from Creative Market. So of course you can use your own graphics and your own fonts when you're designing your t-shirts, but I wanted to show you how you can use assets from the internet and use it in your t-shirts. I'm going to show you how to do this step by step, so you're going to want to stay to the end so that you can see the final product and how to get there, as well as another addition of trend credits. So lots to show you in this video. Let's get into Affinity Designer right now. So here we are in Affinity Designer. This is when you start a new document. A lot of people have been asking me how to make artboards on there. So there's a couple of ways that you can do it. You can start here with print and do letter and just get right into it and then change the size of your artboard. You can see right here, letter is 8.5 by 11 inches. But if I want to do my presets, I can go here and I could create my own by doing create artboard. And then I can change this to pixels and then make sure that it is the Merch by Amazon size. So the width would be 4,500 and the height would be 5,400. And then of course you can do this after you get in, but it's just easier to do it before. And then you're gonna wanna click create, which is underneath this. So I'm gonna move my face here, hit create right here, and then it will create an artboard with the right size here. So when I click on here now and I go to my transform, you can see it is 4,500 by 5,400 and it's already set. And if you need to make more artboards, you can just click on the artboard right here and hold down option and drag, and you can see I've made a second one. If I hold down shift, then I'm making it straight across. See that? So I can make this, I can click on this and then make this a different size. So if I want to make this the hoodie size, I can make it 40 by 50. This size right here, 40, 50, right? And there's my hoodie size right there. So very simple how to do that. So I'm just going to leave that right now. And let's get the graphics that we need for our t-shirts. So we're going to get our George Washington clip art from this site, Creative Fabrica. You might have heard of this one. This is where you can get a lot of resources. A lot of YouTubers or print-on-demand YouTubers talked about this with text and fonts and so many cool things, right? So I'm just going to go up here to the search bar and search for George Washington. Just that simple. And you can see there's 114 results and there's a lot of them. Some of them are already made, so you could come in here and maybe just change out the text. Of course, I'm going to do it a little harder than that. I'm going to do this one, just this vector right here. Actually, that one's cheaper, but I wanted to show you how to use this one. So I'm going to click on here. You can see $2.99. I want the full pod license. Just so, because we are going to use it on print on demand. So you can see here, it's just a little bit more. So $3.89, I click on it, I'm going to download it. So you can see this is totally a vector. So this is perfect for Affinity Designer because I now have control to make it bigger or smaller or whatever size I need it. So let's get it back into Affinity Designer and I'll show you how to use it. So here I am in Affinity Designer again. I got my George Washington vector. You can see it's all vectors. If you go in here and you click on it, it's all points, right? Which is really great because this is perfect for Affinity Designer, because if you hold down shift here, you can scale it, right? I mean, if you don't hold down shift, this is what's going to happen. You can scale it anyway, but you probably don't want to do that. You want to keep it proportional. So holding down shift, clicking one of these corners and making it bigger like that. I'm going to center it. This is my full page. I don't want to do it edge to edge. I want to leave some room for some text here. Another cool thing about vectors is that you can just crop it, like take out some stuff. So let's say I don't want this bottom, I don't want this swooshy thing because I'm gonna do text below it. So I'm just gonna draw this rectangle. Let me show you, take out this stroke and I'll just make it a different color so you can see. So maybe I wanna just crop it like that, right? So all I have to do is click on the vector, click on this rectangle, and then do this subtract. And let's see what happens. Boom. Nice hard edge right here, right? So really simple to do with a vector because it's all points. The next thing you want to do, or at least I want to do, is to make sure that it works on a black t-shirt. Black t-shirts sell typically better than white t-shirts. And so I'm going to do a black background here and put it in the back. And you'll notice that this vector is also black. So if I have made this even darker, I wouldn't be able to see George Washington. So two things you could do. One thing is you could click on it and turn it white, but that's not the effect that I'm going for. That looks kind of weird, looks like a negative. So I'm gonna turn it back to black here, and then I'm gonna turn the background to blue so you can see what I'm doing. So just blue here. Any blue will do. Okay, so now that I have this, one simple trick to do is to create an outline around it. So I'm going to name this George Washington so you can see. And when I double clicked on it, it just zoomed in, but you don't have to. Washington. Whoops, got to spell that right. All right, so now that I have George Washington here, I'm going to do Command J. And that is going to make a copy of it. So picking the one on the bottom, I'm going to select the stroke and then do white on the stroke. Now you can barely see it, and that's because the stroke is only 0.2 points. Now let's see when I make it bigger, like that. So I just want to outline like that. And you'll notice that part of his face is still blue, and that's because there wasn't a white background back there. So what you can do very easily is to take your pen tool and then just draw on here. So I'm drawing just a broad shape. I'm going around the areas that are blue. So you can see here. Just around the face. Nothing fancy. Like that. And then I'm going to color this white. And because it's behind the black, this is the George Washington that's black, this is the George Washington that's white here. And you can see now it's filling in that face, right? And that's what we want to do. So now we have that George Washington portrait or that clip art and its outline, and it works well on this blue. Let me zoom back out. I think this is going to do really well. So let's get to the text part of it. So the next thing we're going to do is put in some text, and I'm going to click on the text tool right here, artistic text tool, and just click down here and start typing in British. You may not see it because by default it's going to be really small, so you can just grab the corner here and undo it. It's going to be whatever font you had last. I was using Air Rates, but we're not going to use that one. We're going to use the font Burton Slab right here. And this font is a font that you can find at Creative Market. I'm going to put a link down in the description. But this font is really cool because it has some different ligatures and things that you can do with the glyph palette. So let me turn this to white and let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to stretch this out to the back here. I could even do that. That's kind of cool, but let's do that British. And so some letters, if you go to the glyphs palette, I'm going to highlight this B, for example. And then you can do, so that's the regular B, but if you want a different B, you can scroll down here and click on this one. You can see how that looks a little different, right? And let me show you rule. Let's do so maybe you want the R in rule to be a little different than that R. You can come down here again and click that, double click on that. Look at that. That's pretty cool, right? British rule. All right. And for the top, I'm gonna curve the text over here. And so I'm gonna just do this oval. And so you can see it, I'm gonna change the color inside to clear. There. And one thing I like to do is to do guides. And this is just gonna help you make sure that everything's centered. So from the rulers palette, you just click on it and then drag. So I'm going to drag it to this most outer part of the design here. Right there. So those are my guides. It's blue, so you might want to make your background a different color so you can see it. I'm going to do not blue. Okay. Let's do it more like that. We can change it anytime. It can be black even, so. But let's just do something like that. All right, so we can see our guides in there. And then we're gonna click on this A. And you're gonna see when you click on this, this oval has to be selected. Then you click on the A, and you're gonna see it turn into a T. See the A to the T, and that's when you click on it and start typing. Too cool. All right, and then so to center this, you're gonna take these triangles and center it there, and this triangle here, and then just make sure, double click on this and make sure that this is centered as well. Now that's too big, you see it's falling outside of the guides, so I'm gonna take it down to maybe 100. Now that's too small, so you just play with it. 120, let's see. That's about right, but it's not centered, so let's move it. I think we could do it a little bit bigger. Maybe 130. Let's try that. Okay, cool. So 130, kind of right on the line there. There, too cool for British rule. Oh, I forgot 4. So let's do, I'm gonna just copy this to do it 4. 4 there. That's coming out good. Too cool for British rule. And it needs some extra things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some stars. So right here, usually it's the triangle tool. I think I used tier last time. So we come here and hit star, and you can just draw a star like this. It probably has an outline. So I'm gonna take the outline off and turn this to red just to give it some color. Right, and then change the radius to something a little thicker. All right, so I'm gonna pull this down here. See, that's why I need the guide, so I can see where I can put the star. And if I want this star on this side, I'm just holding down Shift and Option. Right, you can make the star any size. I think it's kind of big. I'm gonna make it a little smaller. Turn down now, and then hold down Option and Shift and just drag, and then you can have the same color, same size, everything. So maybe move that down a little bit. That's cool, right? And then you can put the stars up here if you want to. Let's do one here, and maybe a smaller one right here. You can turn it, whatever you want. And then I'm gonna hold down Shift and Option and drag it here, and then just flip it. So you can see flipping it like that. So one thing you may notice is that George Washington isn't centered in my space. So with I'm gonna turn on the guides here. You can barely see this guide. Let me turn this background to black so you can see the guides a little better. So you can see here, George Washington's face is not quite centered in here. And that's one thing that you could fix, and I'll show you how to do that. So we're just about finished, but there's some little touches that you may want to do to make this just a little bit better. So for instance, George Washington's face isn't centered inside of my design here. So what we need to do is highlight George Washington first, and I'm going to move my face out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. So here's George Washington and the outline we made and the text. So all of that is George Washington. I'm going to just group that so we can do that. So one thing we can do is move his face so that it is centered. So let's move his face. It's going to be something like that, right? And you can see this is falling outside now of my guides. So one thing I can do is change this to convert to curves first of all, get that out of the way because it's in that oval, so it keeps getting in my space. So that's cool right there. And then what we can do is we'll zoom in here and we can take out some of these points. So let's just highlight those, delete it, and just draw some new points here. Boom. So you're gonna have to do the same for the background. And you may not want this bottom part to show, this bottom outline, so you can easily just move that outline here. This is some deep design tricks right here. So you got something more like that. That's way better, right? So too cool for British rule now. There, I think that turned out okay. And now you have your t-shirt design, and if it's the right size, highlight everything, and then you can move things around and make sure that it's the right size for your t-shirt design. You can move these guides away now. And there you go. If this is too high and you want it down a little bit, you can adjust it. You know, move your triangles down. I mean your stars down. I'm liking how that looks. And if you want to add some color, go for it. You know, maybe you want to make this blue or something. That's kind of cool. It's not in my original design, but that's kind of neat to add some color, red, white, and blue, right? Just have fun with it. So there it is. Too cool for British rule. You're ready to go. It is on the right size. So when you're going to export it, make sure to get rid of this black background. You can just hide it like this. And the way to export for Merch by Amazon and any of it is to go to Artboard, click on your artboard. You can see that it's selected your artboard, and then hit Command Option Shift S or export in the menu bar. You can see this is export, and you're going to want a PNG, and you're going to want to say selection only, and then you hit export, and then it's going to export it at the right size at 4500 by 5400, and you're good to go to add that to Merch by Amazon or any of the print-on-demand sites. So hopefully this was really helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of t-shirt design tutorial. This one was a little bit tougher. Hopefully you guys caught along. I didn't make it too tough. If it was, let me know. And you can have a cool thing like this. Of course, use your own fonts, use your own graphics if you want. I just wanted to show what you could do with vector graphics that you can get from the internet. So, and some really easy, you know, designs with the stars. We already have that in Affinity Designer. So that adds, it's perfect to add for 4th of July. So thanks so much again for watching and for staying all the way to the end. And your reward is another edition of Trend Credits. Thanks for staying with me to the end for this trend credit. Here is your trend, All-American Family. I wanted to do another 4th of July trend here. There's so many of them. This one's kind of saturated. You can see tons of results, 10,000 results, but I wanted to show you that this is something that you could scale. So you can see All-American Boy, All-American Mama, All-American Dad. If you niche down, like let's say All-American, something that nobody might have thought of, All-American Bro. Oh, 4th of July. Somebody's searching for it. So you can see a lot less results now for All-American Bro 4th of July. So take a look at that. And still getting some good BSRs, right? So I went to Merch Informer and typed in All American Family, it's getting an A, so you know it's good. There's still a lot of good competition. If you don't have Merch Informer, click the link in the description for Merch Informer. You can get it. Take a look at these. All American Boy, 261 sales. Holy cow. All American Girl, like these are selling like crazy, right? So that's why I wanted to bring it up. Although there's lots of competition, you still may be able to break into here by doing some other ones that maybe people aren't thinking about. Boy, bro, grandpa, grandma. You could do a whole set once you get this idea and you can switch out the words. So something to think about. Might be too late for this 4th of July, but obviously for next 4th of July, you can do that too. But if you're seeing this 2 weeks before, hopefully you got some time to do it. So that is your trend for this video. All American Family, in this case more specifically, All American Bro 4th of July. So that was it for this video. Thanks so much for joining me on this. Hopefully this video is really helpful for you and gave you a lot of different things that you can use now on Affinity Designer. If it was really helpful and really valuable, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I heard it really helps in the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. I got a little one right here in the corner that you can hit anytime during the video. And before I leave, my question of the day is, where do you get your graphics? So I showed that I got my graphics, at least this one for this video, was from Creative Fabrica. Are there different places that you go to get your graphics? Is it Merch Informer? Is it Creative Market? There's so many places. Vexels has some good ones. Just want to know in the comments. Leave it in the comments where you get your graphics for your t-shirts. Maybe you draw your own and you never get graphics. That's basically what I do. I mostly draw my own, but I wanted to show you in this video that you can get graphics from other places. Thanks again for watching. And if you want to see more design videos, t-shirt design videos, I'll put it right here. And as always, guys, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.